Mike Scharfenberg, Game Plan You today, and welcome to episode 20 of Interview with Influencers. And as always, thank you for spending part of your week with us. And how fitting that the coming in with the last episode of 2020 is episode 20. It's been a awesome ride for the first 20 episodes, and was thinking back this morning to the first episode, May 20th of 2020, and reflecting back to that time and where we were, with everything going on with the pandemic, and at that time not really knowing what was going on, and the government shut down and no sports, and you had all the biased political nonsense out there, and at the end of the day, it was easy to find negativity, right? But that's where this show stems from, was positive mindset, positivity, right? It's all about your mindset and how you perceive things and what you look for in the world. And that's really where this stemmed from, was to give all of you career seekers and professionals out there a place to come for positive support and to build a community to get together and to not only get through this time together, but to grow and prosper both personally and professionally. So we come out of this strong as ever and ready to make 2021 a game-changing year. And, speaking of positivity, I think that's a perfect segue into our special guest, the final guest of 2020. And I couldn't be more honored to have him join us. This gentleman spent much of the last 16 years positively impacting multiple organizations with his infectious, positive attitude, energy. And when I say energy, I mean energy. And his desire to genuinely build relationships and serve others. So I hope you have your notepads ready. I got mine. I'm ready. The golden nuggets are going to start flying. You better duck, get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the great Larry Long Jr. Larry, how we doing?
Yo, what is going on, Mike? You're making me blush, man. Don't do that, dude. With that kind of introduction, episode number 20, keeping things positive. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for allowing me to join your show.
100%. And thank you for finding the time to join us. The Golden Mike, what? 1 second in, makes an appearance already? What did I tell you?
Don't make me drop it on you. I'm gonna have some mic drop moments. I might not know much, but I'm gonna have some.
We gotta check the over under on that one. I'm definitely going with the over. But again, Larry, thank you so much. We got 7. Let's see. All right, I'm counting. But no, thank you so much for joining us. I know when we first connected, it was through, and we had the privilege with Game Plan You to have you tune in and be the host of our fall sprint competition final, which was great. Congratulations again to Andrew Narv or Cody. And, you and I were able to connect offline and grab a virtual coffee, and, a 15, 20-minute conversation turned into 45. And you and I kind of took a step back and said, we should have recorded this, right? But then 2, we wanted to continue the conversation, and what better place than here with the Interview with Influencer community. So again, thank you, and fired up to get started. So without further ado, for those who don't know, let's tell us a little bit. Who is Larry Long?
Yeah, well, if you don't know now, you know. Larry Long. I'm breaking the internet. I'm popping in. I'm popping out. I'm everywhere. I'm gonna keep you on your toes. I mean, dude, just don't throw me any curveballs. I can hit the straight stuff. But anything with a little bit of a wrinkle, I'm in trouble. But back to the question, who am I? I'm a father. I'm a son. I'm a husband. Professionally, I'm director of Collegiate sales at a company called Teamworks. We sell communication and social media platform solutions to elite athletic teams. And as the director of Collegiate sales, I'm really fortunate and blessed to be able to work with colleges, universities, as well as I had the opportunity to serve as a brand ambassador for a company called RepView, and we provide data-driven ratings, kind of an under-the-cover look in the sales organizations. If I'm a sales professional, I want to know, what is that sales organization like before I get in there, and I want it based on data, not just based on, I hate the company, they suck. No, give me the real deal data. And then I'm launching Larry Long Jr. Incorporated. Motivation, inspiration, sales, keynote speaking, coaching, training, consulting, workshops, you name it. So that's kind of me in a nutshell, man. I've traveled all around the world, love traveling. I've lived in multiple places as a youngster, moved around. Both of my parents worked for Department of Veterans Affairs. I'm here in Durham, the good old dirty D, Durham, North Kakalaki, and just fortunate, blessed to be alive and to be able to have an impact on others. That's really my why.
I love it. I love it. We'll dive into that a little bit more later. But I think when you and I first connected, it's all about the positivity and being able to serve and help others, as two sales professionals. And we're going to dive into that in a second, but it's tough to find that these days. You often sales professionals like ourselves, you get a bad rap for some of those out there who, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, they use car salesman analogy, right? Or you have the retail sales professionals that give us a bad name and that they're just trying to work on their commission check. And that's not what we do at all. We're relationship builders. So I'm curious, Larry, like enlighten the community. What was it about sales and a career in sales that interests you? And what skills do you think you've developed throughout the years to help you be successful?
Yeah. So, I mean, my sales career, and I hope you come back, Mike. I know that I told you I was going to have some drop the mic moments, but my sales career started with Lawns by Larry when I was a youngster. And essentially, I had the opportunity to knock on doors, which I was definitely afraid of, and really get to know my neighbors and help out my neighbors by mowing their lawn, miscellaneous lawn care services. I also picked up some babysitting gigs during that time, which was absolutely phenomenal. But really, sales is about helping people. Like you said, the used car salesperson, not all of them, but sometimes it's the stereotypical, are you ready to do a deal? And it's like, no, I'm not ready to do a deal. I'm ready for you to help me out. Can you help me out? Help a brother out. The mall, the retail, the mall kiosk, when we were allowed to go in the mall, now we got to go mask on, but the lotion, the lady wants to squirt some lotion in your hand. It's like, no, I'm not ashy. I'm not ashy Larry, at least not today. I've moisturized. Give me something that's going to help me. And I hear people say it now, show me that you know me, which is great. And that's what sales professionals do. And I love working with sales professionals that are serious about their game, that are caring about other people and advancing and helping other people attain and accomplish their goals. So my sales career has been when I turned 10, my younger sister was born, and I had to learn how to capture attention because everyone was like, oh, look at the cute little baby girl, Tiffany Nicole Long. And I'm like, what about me? Little Larry, what about me? So I had to sell myself. I learned some magic tricks. My middle name is Black Magic. Don't tell nobody else. But I've been selling my whole life, man. And I just love, because when I think about selling, I think it's synonymous with helping people. It's not, you can define it so many different ways, but my definition of sales is helping as well as playing matchmaker. You're able to match your product, your service, your thought and or idea with someone else's needs. They might not even know their needs, their wants, their desires, their challenges, hopes, dreams, and aspirations. And that's really sales right there, when you can make that match. And there's nothing more beautiful, nothing more fulfilling than to match something that you have with something that someone else needs. So I'm not sure if that answered your question. I know you disappeared on me. You're rolling incognito, and now we got you back, which is perfect because I just wrapped up my answer about sales and what enticed me about sales. But welcome back, man. I didn't mean to scare you off.
Hey, no, we wanted the mic drop moment. We wanted that on the big screen. So that's number one. Number one. But I love it. I love it. I know as sales professionals, we sit at the same side of the table with our potential clients, right? We're sitting side by side, and let's figure out if there's a fit. And hey, you know what? If there isn't, at least we got a good friend and we got a relationship, right? And who knows, down the line, we may be able to work together. And if not, maybe you know somebody that we could work with, or vice versa. So it's all about just building those genuine relationships. And I think I've heard you said it in the past in terms of the contracts and contacts.
Yeah.
Analogy, you want to dive into that a little bit?
From Steve Nudelberg. I met him 7 years ago, and he said, Larry, in my 30 years of selling, what I learned, the difference between contacts, people you know, and contracts, people you do any kind of business with, is the letter R, and that R is relationships. True, genuine relationships built on trust and really built up over time. And he said, it's not what you know, and it's not even who you know. It's who knows you and who trusts you and who believes in you that really makes things happen. I was just at my doctor this morning. Thankfully, knock on wood, everything checked out okay. Everything is where it needs to be. I don't have the vid, so life is good. But I asked him, I said, hey, doc, you've been doing this thing for 18 years. What's been the biggest change that you've seen? And he said, really, it's in the interpersonal relationships. And it's really, he talked about the role that these phones have on being able to communicate with each other, being able to relate with other people, the human element. And so many times he talked about an example of a patient who talked about having 1,500 friends. And he's like, no, I don't think you understand. If you were ever in a pinch, who are you going to call? You're not going to call those 1,500 people that don't even know you. They might click like on your little TikTok, whatever you're doing, but they're not real friends. So it's just interesting to see the trend of those that have real, genuine relationships being able to take it to the top, and those that don't kind of fade into black.
100%, 100%. And speaking to that and how you've started to build success in your career, right? I think it's really important before you get anywhere, not just in your career and life. You have to know, like, what is success for you? Because success for Mike and success for Larry could look completely different. You know, in terms for me, success in my eyes is making a positive impact. And that at the end of the day, doesn't matter who it's on, if it's helping my mom or helping my friend or, bringing in a new book of business for the organization I work with, being a good teammate. It's just making a positive impact. So for you, Larry, like, what's your view of success?
Yes, I don't know what Webster would say in the dictionary, but similar to you, for me personally, when I think about success, I go back to the Martin Luther King Jr. quote. Life's most urgent and persistent question is, what are you doing to help others? And when I think about success, I define it as helping others in a positive manner, helping them to accomplish their goals, helping them to achieve and get to the heights that they want to, and even further pushing them to get the heights that they never would have imagined. But that's just me. I mean, that's my definition of success. Some folks define it by the size of your bank account, which is fine. I mean, I believe financial success, there's nothing wrong with it. But for me, that capital and that investment comes in relationships. For me, it comes in experiences and shared experiences. You might look at my bank account and laugh at it and be like, are you missing a couple zeros? Yes, I am. But when you look at my relationships and the bonds that I've been able to create, I'm the richest man in the world. So that's just me.
I love it. And, I think back to my first day with the Yankees, and we were asked to come up with a why and create a document, right, to serve as a reminder. And ironically enough, I got that slider getting ready. The catcher's throwing down the slider symbol, so it's coming. But no, basically, looking around, all 13 of us had different whys. And that's just a prime time example of, money's great and money should be important to everybody, but it shouldn't. If that's your driver, that's on you. But as long as you're doing it for the right reasons, right, and building those relationships, helping people. So, in terms of everything going on now with business and sales and all of that, right, there's so many great things that are going on. So let's highlight that first. So 2020, it could be LinkedIn, just regular day-to-day operations with Teamworks. What are some of the positive trends you're seeing now in the marketplace?
Oh, goodness. In the marketplace. Well, we're in the world of collegiate athletics, but in collegiate athletics, in sales, just the software sales, community. really the community has rallied together. And you see, even though we don't have the physical contact, I can't dap you up. I can't give you a bro hug, but we're able to do it digitally. We're able to do it Zoom. We're all zoomed out. But I love it. I mean, just being able to have that connection, it is what you make of it. So there's just been a huge sense of community, just a huge sense of togetherness, open communication. The borders have broken down. I've had conversations with Johannesburg, South Africa. I've had conversations, good day, mate, in Australia. My homeboy is over in Hong Kong. That never would have happened if it hadn't have been from the circumstances, the terrible circumstances. But how do you turn a negative into a positive? And I had this conversation with my doc this morning, just talking about life, that if it wasn't COVID, it would be something. It's not like life is perfect. It's not like life was perfect in 2019. But it's what we make of it. It's not like life is going to be perfect in 2021 once we have a vaccine. Like I hear people talking about, oh, I can't wait for the new year. What? I can't wait for right now. Any day that ends in Y is a perfect opportunity for you to impact others on a positive. You don't have to wait until January 1st, 2021. I mean, mic drop moment number 2. Who's counting?
Easy.
You don't have to wait right now. You can do it right now. What time is it? Well, I would say bow time, but I'm down. I'm down a good 23 pounds. So it ain't bow time. No bojangles. That's right. But the time is right now to go ahead and go out and help someone. And it doesn't have to be grandiose. Why don't you just start in your local community? Why don't you just help with one of your neighbors? Hey, how can I help you? Why don't you just look in your local community, your friends, your family, and see how you can help? So many times people wait for that perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. Sorry. I hate to spoil it, but there is no perfect moment. That moment is right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I was going to bring this up later, but I think it's the perfect time now. New Year's goals, I'm sorry. Get them out. Get them out. I'm all for setting goals, right? But why wait? How many days till New Year's? Well, we got 9 days. Why wait? That's 9 days that you're wasting letting someone else get in front of you, especially if you're a career seeker who's looking for a job right now, right? Like you're 9 days behind. Why wait? There's no better time than today, right? And when you spoke to that big grand moment, it's not, you're right. It's not going to come. It's small victories, right? Start today, but don't make the goal of losing 50 pounds today. You know, start by going for a mile walk and then a mile and a half, 2 miles. It's a small steps, but it's going to build that momentum. And think about that. You start 9 days now. By the time we get to January 1st, you got that momentum rocking and you're off and running. So I love all of that. In terms of some of the, you know, with all negatives, like you said, there's always the positives. I think, you know, the Newbergs have the wall of shame, right? And which, you know, is my favorite segment. It is fantastic. You know, some of these things that are going on out there, it's like, but in terms of some negative trends that you're seeing in the marketplace, what are some of those things?
Yeah. And I mean, this continues to go on. Unfortunately, it's kind of the lack of humanity. Like we're working with people. Like these are people who have real emotions. They have real families. They have real just issues. And there's a lot of automation, and I'm all for being efficient. I'm all for leveraging automation where it makes sense, but where it doesn't make sense is automating the human element. Yeah. My responsibility is I'm a person trying to help another person. So if I put you into a cadence and I just have it kind of, I don't know, automated, it's like, am I really connecting with you as a person? Do I understand that you used to work for the Yankees, that you graduated from New Haven? Do I know that? If I don't know that, then what am I doing and why am I doing it? Oh, wow. Hello, you're on the air. Do we have a caller?
Speaking of genuine relationships,
that's caller number 9. You better pick it up. Shoot, I'm ready. You're throwing all the curveballs at me. I love it, Mike. You're keeping me on my toes.
I told you, gotta be ready. I told you, you gotta be ready.
I love it. But yeah, man, it's some of the negatives is just It's folks automating, not keeping the human element. And then another negative trend, and this is kind of my why, is to help people see that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And really there's light right now. You don't have to wait until the end of the tunnel. Why not make the most of right now, today, right this moment? And it's tough. It's a tough balance, because I don't want to discount that there's bad things that are happening. There's folks that are losing their jobs. There's folks that are struggling to take care of their necessities. There's folks that are passing away because of this pandemic. That's terrible. And there's also hope that we can inspire each other, that we can support each other, and that we can achieve what we put our mind to. I mean, when the going gets tough, the tough get tougher. And I don't know if that's a real quote, but it just sounds good. It's like, hey, we're going through tough times. Yeah, that's that number 4. Who's counting? Number 3? Okay.
Number 3. That's number 3.
But I mean, we just have such an excellent opportunity right now to get tough ourselves and to support others. Let's go ahead and lock arms and let's get after this thing together.
Yeah, no, I love that. And again, the positive mindset. If you don't have a positive mindset, you already lost. You're gone. That you're done. Because like you said earlier on, there's always going to be something else. If it wasn't the pandemic, it's going to be something else. And if you're going to be one who makes excuses, right? And I get it. And like you said, it is horrible with everything going on. But at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control. And what you can control is your mindset. And like you said, how you help others. So I love that. And I love everything, like I said, that you're doing, and recommend everybody reach out to Larry to connect. And those are the type of people, you are who you surround yourself with. And if you surround yourself with positive people, they're going to be positive. If you watch the news every night, I'll tell you this. I know Larry, I can speak for Larry on this one, but you're not the type of person we want to be around. We don't have time for that negative stuff, right?
Ain't nobody got time for that. It's like you said, you are what you eat, and that's just not the food you eat, but what you consume, what the images, the movies, if you watch the news, you'll be in a bad mood for life. Good luck. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous. I let my information kind of filter in, but I try to surround myself and fill my brain. I mean, I don't have much brain capacity, so the little bit I have, I want to fill it with positive images and positive messages. And you're so true. And I'm going to spill the tea. Some people use the acronym EAT, which I like, but I'm going to spill the tea in terms of what you can control. I don't drink coffee. I might explode, but I love some sweet tea. TEA, you can control how you treat others. You can control your emotions. And then the A, I think I spelled that right, TEAT, you can control your actions and your attitude. So, I mean, that's really, that is really what we got to do, is control the T.
100%. And I think keeping track, we're on number 4, folks. Number 4, make sure you got it down. I told you. Got to have them notepads ready. You never know when that nugget's just going to fly right out the screen, right by your head. So make sure you're ready. But I love that. So, Larry, getting to this point in your career, right? And obviously with the relationships you've built and all the different places you've been, I know you, and just through the conversations we've had so far, is you never stop learning. You're a sponge. You're always looking for conversations. I know the first time we connected, you were asking me questions and getting to know me better and hearing about my past and how I got to where I was. And it's such a great quality to have. And, the second you stop learning, it's the second it all stops for you and you sink. So in terms of lifelong learning, like, tell us a little bit about your perspective on that. And what are some of the things that you do on a daily basis to continue being a student of the game?
Yeah. So lifelong learning, it's a skill that can be developed, and it's a practice. It takes hard work. It doesn't just come overnight, but essentially, are you serious about it? And are you hungry? I think Les Brown, the big motivational speaker, he says, are you hungry? I love it. But I'm hungry for knowledge. And I get that from my pops. My dad passed away 5 years ago, and he was a lifelong learner, got his master's. And my dad grew up in the projects of Baltimore City. So, I mean, he first one from his family to graduate high school. And he just went on to continue. He was always reading, always learning, always asking questions. And I get that from him, thankfully. And it's just, it's a personal mission to continue to learn so that I can share, continue to learn so that I can test things out and see what works for me and what might need to be kind of the remix, baby, to work for me, and what can I pass along to others. So my routines is really, I love YouTube, and YouTube is that endless loop. If you find one educational, one motivational video, they'll recommend others that you might like. I love LinkedIn, but I also like getting on other channels. I mean, Twitter. And I'm not a big tweeter, but I like scanning through to see what the trolls are writing. And it just, the thing about Twitter for me is there's some people that are in some really dark places. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go there. Like, oh, what got into their cornflakes this morning? I'm counting my blessings that, oh, my heart isn't just filled with coal and just darkness, but it is a skill.
I mean, sorry to interrupt, but there's some people out there, the stuff they're tweeting, it's like, I don't think you would say that to somebody in person. You say it behind the keyboard, but
keyboard gangsters right there.
Right?
Look at that tough stuff, but it's just interesting. I mean, the human race is just an interesting race, and you can learn so much. There's a saying, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but when you talk and you blow hot air, you're just repeating the craziness that you already know. When you shut your mouth and you listen, I mean, we've been blessed with 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. When you actually listen, that's when you can actually receive and learn. And to you, Mike, I appreciate you sharing. You didn't have to share with me. I believe that sharing is caring, as long as it's not droplets, or I don't know if you got snow on the ground. Please don't. You can keep that, man. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm trying to play some golf this weekend. But shoot, I mean, you can learn so much. And my wife is from Argentina. I've had the privilege and pleasure to go there plenty of times. Last year, I went to Spain twice. When you travel internationally, it really humbles you, and it really shows you that people are people. Like, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. People are just good people for the most part. I mean, you have a couple bad apples here and there, but it's just amazing. I recommend that everyone, by the time they turn 21, travel internationally for at least a week to experience what life is outside of our bubbles that we live in. So hopefully we all have that opportunity next year to kind of get out and stretch our horizons and to live, to learn, and to love. I mean, it comes down to that love, that care, that genuineness. I call them me monsters. If you're a me monster, sorry, ain't nobody got time for that. Boop. Now, if you're a you monster, woo, I love you monsters. And I mean, Young Jeezy, I love Young Jeezy. He's got a song, Go Getter. I love go getters, but I really love a go giver. When you're a go getter who loves to just give, dynamite.
I love it. I love it. I think for those keeping track, that's number 4. So we're getting there. But no, and one of the things you said about traveling, right, and seeing, outside of your little bubble, right, and experiencing different things, to bring that out back to the business side. So say you're a sales rep, right, and you just do the same script every time, and and you stay in your little world, you're never going to grow and expand and get better. It's a tough skill to learn, but I mean, I'm sure it wasn't super comfortable the second you got to another country, not being able to understand people in certain situations and not knowing where you're going, and, people giving you looks like, look at this American over there. But at the end of the day, like, I'm sure you left with a much different perspective, right, than when you came in. And
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I've had tons of practice of people not understanding me here in the U.S. Yeah. People looking at me like, "What you talking about, Willis?" So it's one of those things where it is what you make of it, and that's life. I mean, you can look at any experience. And I talked to my colleague yesterday, James Babb, and he came and spoke to one of my sales teams. This was probably 8 years ago, and he said, "Hey, every situation, you have a choice. You can look at the negative, or you can look for the good, the great, and the wonderful." And we were just talking last night, and it's just amazing that when life gives you lemons and when you get thrown a curveball, it's up to you to make the adjustment and be flexible to say, hey, this wasn't ideal. It was actually pretty bad, but I'm going to search for it and I'm going to find the good out of it, the great out of it, and the wonderful. It makes such a world of difference.
100%, 100%. And I'll add to that as well. The mindset, right, of success and failure, in my opinion, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, should be the same. You should be focused on the process, whether you succeed or not, and focused on that positive mindset. How many times, I'm sure you can attest to this, in your career, have you seen a rep who closes a huge deal and then goes like this? Right?
Can't be on my team. You better use that momentum. The best time to close a deal is right after you close a deal. It's kind of like when I used to play basketball. I was kind of like, Antoine Walker. I didn't see a shot I didn't like. And don't let me hit, because if I hit, I'm coming down and I'm going to test it out again. I'm going to see. He's heating up. He's on fire. It's the same thing in life, getting that momentum, but also accepting and realizing that not everything is going to be rainbows and sunshine. The biggest growth opportunities come from stretching outside of your comfort zone. And when you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, lights out. I mean, it's like you said, I don't know if you subscribe to Joe Embiid, but trust the process. Enjoy the process.
I mean, I have some close friends who were part of the Sixers, front office team, and the trust the process Sixers was a lesson they instilled in me from the beginning. But look at them now. You trust you just gotta. It may take longer for some, but Rome wasn't built overnight, right? It takes time. So I love that. So kind of building off that point, right? And I know we keep hitting on it. If we had $1 for every time we mention the word positivity, but it's just so fitting. And speaking to the power of positivity, how has that influenced you in your life in a situation where you faced, adversity and you faced that wall, right? And you had that crossroads. How is having that positive mindset helping you get through those times or that time?
Yeah, I mean, I got to go back to, this was back in 1997, baseball season of 1997. I started off my career, I'm scratching. I'm breaking the internet again. I started off my baseball career, won for my first 24. And that's terrible. It doesn't take a math major to figure out, you're in trouble now. What position are you playing, Larry? Oh, I'm left out. They didn't take me on the bus. But I remember calling. We were at UNC Greensboro. We were driving back to Maryland, and my dad had made the trip down. We stopped at like a rest stop, got some food. I called my dad, and I was in tears. And I said, hey, Dad, I don't belong at Division I. I don't belong in the ACC. And he reached through that phone and he had some choice words for me. He said, boy, you ain't going to carry my name with that attitude. He had some other words that I can't repeat. But he said, hey, you got to get back to the drawing board. And that means you got to get back on the tee. But more importantly, you got to get your mind right. Right now, you're defeated. And I think Henry Ford says it best, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're right. And in life, in baseball, in business, in sales, if you don't believe you can, you have no chance. Because even if you believe you can, it's still tough. But essentially, I listened to my pops and I got on the tee and I got my mind right. And then UNC, University of North Carolina, came to town and I got in as a defensive replacement on a Friday, 2 for 2. I'm feeling myself. Call me Kanye.
There's that momentum.
Saturday, I started 3 for 4, but who's counting? All of a sudden, I'm a math major. I'm seeing that batting average go up. I'm above the Mendoza line. Sunday, I went 2 for 4. Ooh, that was all she wrote. I batted 289 overall, 319 in the ACC, but who's counting? Essentially, batting number 9 in the order. I saw a lot of fast stuff. Ooh, my eyes were lit up. I was licking my chops. I was feasting on fastballs, but it's really the power of belief internally, the power of positive thinking, and just understanding that in life, you're going to have ups and downs, and you got to keep that happy medium. I mean, I've been on hitting streaks where I was feeling myself. And what I realized is when you're going good, you better stay on that grind. You better stay focused on what got you there. When things are going bad, they're really not as bad as you think. I mean, they might be bad, but there could always be worse. Always could be worse. So once again, you got to keep that happy medium and stay as grounded as possible, which is tough. For me, I'm an emotional guy. I don't know if you can imagine that, but I wear my emotions on my sleeve and normally on my face. I got to smile for a mile. So I've had to really learn that there's a time and a place for everything, but I can control my thoughts. I can control my attitude, and having a positive attitude has definitely served me well, has definitely served my pops well. My dad passed away. The day before he passed away, I said, "Hey, Pops," that's what my kids called him. "How are you feeling?" He said, "Larry, best I've ever felt." He passed away the next day, December 11th. He didn't feel the best that he ever felt, but he was trying to psych himself up. He was also trying to protect me into not worrying, which I already was worried. But essentially, it's the mind is powerful. This mind can do some powerful things.
Yeah, I mean, 150%. 150%. I think I could have used a little the Larry batting tips in my little softball slump this summer. We got out of it. I kept the positive mindset. Finished the season strong.
Elbow up. Nah, that's the worst thing you could do.
that was it. That was it for me, because I came in as a baseball player with the elbow up. Gotta keep it down. Line drives. But no. It's all about. We all had those teammates, whether it was a classroom project or you're a part of a sport team or in your workspace, who's just negative, and that brings down the team. Who like you said, we don't got time for that negativity, because it's infectious, and that positivity, it spreads, and it'll spread quickly. So that's one of those, you just gotta, whether you win or lose, stay the course and keep positive. And at the end of the day, it's going to work out, right? I mean, think about the last team who's won that had a big cancer in the locker room, right? I mean, it almost never happened. It almost never happened. So it's all about that mindset. So I love that. So let's shift now specifically to those career seekers out there, right? So as someone who's been in the position to hire, at multiple different companies and at multiple different levels, what are some of those qualities or personality traits that jump out to you and say, listen, that's my guy. I want to be in the foxhole with him.
Yeah, so the basics is kind of table stakes. Are you a good person? Do you have a positive attitude? Those intangibles. I can't have any negative Nancys or negative Nellies. Sorry if your name is Nelly or Nancy. If you're negative, ain't nobody got time for that. You can't be on my team. We can hang out. Not really. We can grab a drink. I don't really drink, but you definitely can't be on my team. What I look for, you talked about it. It's who do I want on my team? I want folks that, there's an acronym I use called EPIC, and the E is entrepreneurial spirit. It's that's number 5. Who's got 5? It's that ownership and accountability of being a business owner. And you don't have to own your own business, but you have to understand that what you get out of it is what you put into it. And you got to be willing to put a lot of work into it. The P is preparation and planning. So we were talking about the 76ers, and I'm going to quote my inner AI. Yes, we're talking about practice, not the game. Essentially, are you prepared? Have you planned? And have you practiced? Allen Iverson. The I is internal drive and desire. Do you have it right here? That internal hunger, that relentlessness, because we're all going to get hit with obstacles. I want folks that'll find a way over those obstacles, around those obstacles, under those obstacles. And if you have to, boom, I'm going to knock them out right through the obstacle. That's what I want on my team. And then the C, I'm going to triple click, and I might actually quadruple click. Let's see if I'm feeling myself. The C is communication, which is part of communication is listening. Also care. It's the give a damn factor. Pardon my French. Communication, care, confidence. It's like what Kevin Hart says, say it with your chest. And then I'm not a big cat lover, big cat fan, but curiosity. Curiosity didn't kill the cat. Are you curious? Do you care to ask questions and listen to what other people are saying? And then do you have the confidence? And it can be quiet confidence. You don't need to be loud like me. I know that I can get loud. Especially when I get excited and I start sweating up a storm. It's like, Larry, just calm down. Go somewhere and sit down. Sit somewhere and pray, man. You're too hype. But that's what I look for. And then the intangibles, integrity without compromise. Do you do the right thing? And do you have examples of doing the right thing when no one's watching? It's not like this is punked and Ashton Kutcher's around. That's integrity, doing the right thing just because it's the right thing to do. Do you have that internal drive, which I talked about? Do you work well with teams? My daughter's in first grade and they talk about the golden rules, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Do you actually practice that? And do you have a track record of it? If you do, come on. You can come on to my team with open arms. If you don't, then you might as well take a U-turn, kind of like my baseball career. Strike out, take a U-turn back to the bench.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on a lot of gold nuggets there. So a lot to unpack, but just some of the key takeaways for me is that preparation piece. Yeah. You got to be prepared. If think about, you show up to your day and you spend the first half hour planning out your day. Well, think about the person next to you who spent an hour and a half on the train ride to Yankee Stadium prepping for who he's going to call. Where is he? So I think I know someone who's done that. But no, it's one of those things like, in that specific situation, it was about a month into our program and I was fourth or fifth on the board. And I was sitting there, I was like, I'm having success, but how can I overcome? How can I push to the next level? Did I want to do that? Would I rather be having my headphones in sleeping? Yes, but no, you got to do what you got to do to grind to get better. So I love that. And that internal hunger too, it kind of hits on that as well. And, there's a reason a lot of sales professionals are former athletes.
Yep.
Right? Because
the thing that I love about former athletes is that they're coachable. And a lot of times they have that internal drive and desire. I'll never forget, this was, going in, it was my 8th grade year. My parents invested and I grew up in humble beginnings. My parents, they loved us. They showered us with love, but we weren't financially overflowing in money. They invested in a solo hitter. And my mom told me, you wanted this, we're going to give it to you, but you better use it. So I would come back from school. I would have to do my homework. That was number one. Number two, I better practice my clarinet, 30 minutes of practicing my clarinet. I wanted to play the saxophone. I thought I was Grover Washington Jr. at Kenny G. My parents said, we can't afford a saxophone, so take this clarinet and make it do what it do. I was the worst. Oh, I'd get lost. And the first chair saxophone is Chris Dodson, who I used to do some work with the 76ers from the medical side. He used to always help me out. He'd be like, right here, you big dummy, you lost your place again. But after I got my schoolwork done, my clarinet, I would have to go down and take 100 swings on my solo hitter. And would I have rather been at the mall with my homies? For sure. I wish that on Fridays I was at an ice skating rink doing reverse skate with all my classmates? Of course. But my goal was to play varsity as a freshman in high school. And my parents said, we're giving you the recipe, but we can't cook it for you. Shoot, you better stir it up and you better get in there. So 100 swings every night. You better believe it. Do you think I started as a varsity as a freshman? You better believe it. Shoot. Do you think I started in college as a freshman? You better believe it, because it's really doing what everyone else can do, but they won't do. That's what separates kind of everyone versus those that are great and on that other level.
First off, there's number 6. There's number 6. We're getting close as we wind down. No, it's everyone thinks there's a magic pill. I shouldn't say everybody, but that's what separates the ones who get to where they want to be and get those goals, and the ones that just think they can sit back and that they're just entitled to something. Because no one's newsflash, no one's entitled to anything.
Not at all.
To nothing. You have to go out and earn every single thing, every relationship, everything that you have to work for. So I love that. And I know we're running low on time. So last 2 things here, we'll wrap it up. But in terms of the sport industry right now, really a lot of industries, there's like some out there, Amazons and all that are thriving. But in terms of our industry, let's focus on that. It's a challenging time for a lot out there, between, college students who are graduated or a lot of professionals who got let go from different organizations. And, but like we said before, when times of great adversity, this is the time right now, not tomorrow, not New Year's, now, to grow and get better and become the most valuable asset you can for when teams do start and organizations look to bring on new team members. So what are some recommendations that you have for those career seekers of things they could be doing now to get them to that next level?
Yeah, well, guess what? Knock, knock. Opportunity is knocking every day. And if you're not seeking it proactively, you're missing out because you're either moving forward or you're moving back. If you're saying the same, you're moving backwards because I'm moving forward. So what can you do? You can reach out and touch somebody. I know it's 500 pounds, but this 500-pound phone, pick up the phone and call somebody. You can use social media to connect with folks and establish new relationships, but also grow existing relationships. And all that means, I mean, one of my new colleagues, he said, I call it the hashtag 3-minute challenge. It's not the mannequin challenge, but it's the hashtag 3 minutes challenge. Every day he takes 3 minutes to think of one person and think about what can I do to bring a smile to their face? What can I do? He calls it, how can I surprise and delight them? So, I mean, for me, you could send me a picture of a honey bun and say, hey, Larry, I know that was your pregame routine. One glazed, one unglazed honey bun. That'll bring a big old smile. And just that little gesture means so much in relationships. Also, you can be stepping up your educational game. So when I look at my team, there's 5 pillars, kind of like the 5-tool player. Number 1 is the company. If you're not working for a company now, start to research some of the companies that you would like to work for. What's their history? What are they facing now? The industry or industries. I'm in the collegiate athletics industry, but I'm also in the SaaS, software as a service, the high tech, the innovative industry. What are some of the trends? What's going on? Who am I surrounding myself with that are in the know? The product. Whatever products are out there, do you know? Are you stepping your knowledge game up? Tools and resources. That's both people you know, but also other tools that are out there. And then the last one is selling skills. It could be technical skills, but are you learning a new language? A buddy of mine, former teammate of mine, used to be a scout with the Red Sox. He said, hey, scouts are being run out. Long-term scouts are being run out because they're not open to leveraging data to make data-driven decisions that have a huge impact, and we're getting left behind. And then number 2, they're not open to learning Spanish. Que pasa, loco? Essentially, if you're not hip to learning a new language that's going to benefit you and the organization, ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm asking, what are you doing? Are you picking up a new language? Maybe you're picking up a hobby, learning how to play the guitar, doing something other than Netflix and chilling. If you're Netflix and chilling and you come and interview with me and I ask, hey, over the last 9 months, what have you been doing to further your game? And you can't tell me books that you've been reading, podcasts you've been listening to, folks that you've been following, folks that you've been establishing relationships with. You can't be on my team. Sorry. You wasted an excellent opportunity to further yourself as well as to further others. What are you doing to help others during this time? And I mean action. What actions have you taken? Have you mentored anybody? That could be the youth. Have you talked to any middle schoolers, elementary schoolers, high schoolers, even college freshmen where you're at, your colleagues? Or have you just gone with the flow? If you've just gone with the flow, then sorry, keep going with the flow. Because on my train, we're trying to get after it.
Yeah, the little things, right? And that's one of the things I was going to hit on was when you're interviewing someone, that's the first question you're going to ask because that's going to tell you everything you need to know.
Yep.
You know, even if you don't have the situation to access LinkedIn, because there are individuals out there, right, that have in different situations. Yep. Did you volunteer? Yep. Did you build relationships there? And with going back to your sticky bun analogy, right? You never would have known that if we didn't have that relationship and I didn't ask questions. You know what, Larry, tell me about your pregame ritual. You know,
2 honey buns. It was terrible. Don't tell my doctor, but I would eat one with the white glaze and then one with just the clear glaze. Oh, I was good when I was working out back then, but now, I'm in the over 40 club. 40 is the new 21, but yeah, I can't do it like I used to.
That metabolism starts slowing down a little bit, and it's like, you know, you got to switch up the habits. But no, Larry, I just appreciate the time so much and all of the kind words. I know the community couldn't appreciate it more, and what a great way to end 2020. And in terms of the holiday season, and you know, I felt this was a fitting way to end the conversation here. You know, we're going into Christmas, Hanukkah, and all of that in the new year. So in terms of Christmas is past or holidays past, what was the favorite gift and most impactful gift that you've given, not received, given?
Okay, I'm gonna drop the mic on you. Amazon gift cards. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. Nah, it really every year it's just a thoughtful gift. So I mean, for my wife this year, it's I gotta whisper because she's right out there. It's a masterclass subscription because she wants to get her knowledge on, and she also wanted some HBO. I think they call it HBO Max. It's I don't know, special service. We're getting her that, and then we're also getting her Amazon gift card because I'm gonna keep it real. I'm the worst gift giver there is. And my wife is like, I appreciate the thought, but you get an A for effort, you get an E for execution. This is terrible. What in the heck were you thinking? Now for the kids, we try our best not to, but I love my kids and I just spoil them to death. So my son, he's getting almost everything on his list. He's not getting the Xbox. I haven't been quick enough to be able to order that new Xbox, but it's coming. He gets an IOU on that. But we've really been blessed. And really the most meaningful gift is just time and attention away from this phone. I mean, while we were talking, I saw my wife, my son, and my daughter outside. And there's nothing that replaces that time, those memories, those experiences versus the technology, the TV, reading books together. Yes, learning together. I mean, we have a family ritual, and I know I'm getting away from your question, but every night at dinner, we watch Impractical Jokers, which gets our laugh on. And my daughter has a crush on Sal. I don't know. Maybe it's this little crazy dance that he does, but she loves Sal. She calls him Sally. I'm like, Lulu, what in the world? But after that, we also watch the Shark Tank. And now my daughter being 7, my son being 11, we talk about, hey, would we invest in this business and why? Is it because of the founders? Is it because of the product? We also watch The Prophet, Marcus Lemonis. He talks about product, process, and people. So just doing that as a family. And I mean, we're in the motion of launching a business, my business, and it's a family affair. So that's really the best and most meaningful gift of all time, is just the presence of being there together and experiencing whatever you're experiencing together.
Yeah, no, what a great way to end it. And for those counting, we wrapped up with exactly 7 drops, which means whether you bet the over or the under, it's a push, baby. We all win at the end of the year here. So I love that. And I think, speaking of time, we couldn't thank you enough on behalf of Game Plan U, the Interview with Influencer community, for your time. I know it's busy wrapping up, towards the end of the year. So thank you again so much. It was truly a pleasure, and looking forward to many future conversations. But for those out there, because I know your golden rule, you never say no to a conversation, right? And who you can help. So how can those out there listening get in touch with you? What would be the best means?
Yeah, well, first, Mike, I want to say thank you for hosting me, for having me, allowing me the opportunity to chat with your listeners and your viewers. And I'm just appreciative of you. I can encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. You're doing something really special. Folks can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm open to connect, open to chatting, having a conversation. Larry Long Jr., I got the smile for a mile. I got the face for radio. You'll look at the profile pic and say, yup, that's that dude. But please connect with me. Let me know what I can do to help, how we can collaborate, and let's make it happen each and every day. We don't have to wait until 2021. The time is right now.
I mean, if that didn't fire you up to go crush the rest of 2020, I don't know what will. So don't wait until New Year's. Like we said, start whatever your goals are, because I'm sure you have them written down already. Today, start them today, and let's bring in 2021, make it a game-changing year. So on behalf, again, of Game Plan U, that's Larry. This is Mike. Thank you so much for 20 amazing episodes and for the community we've built, and looking forward to making 2020 or 2021 a game-changing year together. So everybody have a blessed holiday, and we'll see you on the flip side. Take care.